Interview with April, take one.
Hi, how are you, Jay?
Hi.
My name is April Ford, and my pagan name is Saoirse. I have been initiated into an eclectic Wiccan tradition, and my high priest is Lord Shadow. I study the applied practice of witchcraft and also Wiccan religion.
How did you become a witch?
Well, I don't know that I became one, I was born one. I realized that. I was about 20 and I started noticing things, and it took me about 10 years to admit to myself that that's what I was, because I was raised to believe that those things were not good. And the aha moment came when a friend was kind enough to take me for a Samhain gathering, and a Gothi of Asatru was giving rune and tarot readings. My friend talked me into getting a reading, and much to my surprise, the feeling that I got from it was not one of fear, or that this is wrong, or that this is the devil, you know, what I was told that it was. The feeling that I got was, this is home. And very soon after that I started to explore a little bit more. It was probably 4 to 5 years after that until I finally admitted to myself, this is what I am.
What does being a witch mean to you?
What does it mean to me to be a witch? It means to take a lot of responsibility for living my life according to my beliefs. And that transfers over into everyday life. You know, most pagans or heathens or just people who practice magic will guide themselves by some form of conduct, tenets, virtues, and for me the tenets were something that my priest had me meditate on very early. And things like the tenet of balance. How do you balance things in your life? How do you balance your thinking? How do you balance your diet? How do you balance work with sleep? These are all very important, mundane things. But if you're out of balance with any aspect of your being, be it spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, sexual, everything's going to be off. So things like that are very important. Also, for me being a witch, I'm part of a network of friends who practice, and practicing with others is very important for me, not because I need other people's energy, not because I bore myself to sleep, which I do, but because one of the meanings of Wicca is the people, and we experience the gods through one another. We experience the Sabbats, the high days, the turning of the wheel together. We become a part of each other's lives. And I see the gods and the goddess and the people who I love that participate in these things with me. So to be a witch for me, in a nutshell, after all that rambling, things that guide my conduct, also guides my relationship with myself, with the people who I love, with the divine, and also tells me where I was before this life and where I'm going in the next life. And those things are all very important. Plus, I think the best thing was when I woke up and I realized there was really no supernatural, everything was natural. These occurrences that I had, this deja vu that I was having, these remembrances of past lives, the ability to read tarot for people and to counsel them through that, these were all naturally occurring things that you read about through scriptures and all the major world religions, really. Healing touch, you know, telepathy. You know, I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking of you, well, there was an email from you. Talking to the dead, a relationship with the ancestors. Being a Wiccan has exposed me to philosophies and practices and literature and other people who really explain why the world works the way that it does, and why things need changed, why things need kept the same, and why things are okay sometimes.
And what type of particular skills do you have as a witch?
Oh goodness. Well, I believe that skills are more gifts or talents that are really honed. If you have 10 people in a room, right, and they all claim that they're practicing witches, there may be some similarities, but each person has their own gifts. The Pentecostals would call it gifts of the Spirit. For me, one of the things that I do really well is I organize people. That's fun. I like to have gatherings and have people come together. I'm good at making people think about topics that are not pretty. And that's very valuable for a witch in a community because, especially in the 21st century, you know, this is the first century of our inception, really. For a witch in the 21st century, it is very important to be aware of the issues that concern us and also aware of all the bullshit that's out there, and I'm one of the people that's not afraid to speak up about those things. I learned that a skill of mine is not saying it tactfully, so that's something that I've had to learn. For me, I do readings for people. I'll use runes, I'll use omens that I've gathered, I'll use, you know, cards. But I've gotten to the point that I can read energy for people sometimes and not use my tools. And I talk a lot, so that's a gift of gab, isn't it?